yes.
10 days ago. Come on.
Semi-award winning.
Now, that was before you made the declaration that Joey Chestnut was one of the 5 greatest Americans of all time. Any blowback on that?
Still stand by it.
Any pushback?
But, the publication did reach out, and they're like, hey, you're on thin ice, pal.
I'd say.
You're on thin ice.
I made that mistake, too. Someone pointed it out to you that, shouldn't we have done our greatest Americans of all time on 4th of July week? I thought we did.
For this week.
I thought we did.
Yeah, I kind of got the weeks messed up.
It's all right. We'll do something else 4th of July.
You know what?
Today.
We gave it to them early.
That's right.
We're unlike other podcasts.
Were the 2 gentlemen standing at the podiums for the presidential debate, are they 2 of the greatest Americans of all time?
Ooh,
did you see that?
I don't know. I saw clips of it. I didn't take time to watch it because I knew I was going to be depressed. But I didn't. I saw clips of it.
You're not really into politics.
Not really.
And we've talked about this a few times. And I was at the beach when the debate was coming on. And I turned on the TV. Now, the internet at the beach house we rented was spotty. So sometimes we'd get it, sometimes we wouldn't. And when I turned on the live, it was a streaming TV thing. It just sat and spun. So the next day I said, I didn't see the debate. It just sat and spun. And they were like, no, you saw
that's
it.
Exactly.
That's pretty much.
That was live. That was in real time, dude.
This is kind of unprecedented, though. Well, not unprecedented, but it's been a long, long time. I think Democrats could push Biden to try to
get somebody new in there.
Could that work? If you were in charge of the Democratic Party, if you missed this debate now, the debate was not, I don't think it was stellar for Donald Trump, but it was a disaster.
It wasn't great for anybody. Everybody lost.
But for Joe Biden, it was awful.
Very bad. Did you see the moderator pointing to where to look for him to look at the question? She goes, over here, Joe, over here. That was insane.
He can't put a sentence together.
No.
He can't get off the stage.
No.
He's the most powerful man in the world.
Yes.
He is the leader of the United States of America.
Yes.
And now his wife is saying, stay in. We believe in you. And all the Democratic strategists are like, oh, he had one bad night. No, it's far worse. So if you were in charge, would you go to him and say, really, we need you to step aside? I mean, it's totally up to him.
I feel like that's just a good ploy to get people thinking. Now, I was watching somebody speak on this. Didn't the same thing kind of happen to Reagan, where people were kind of questioning whether or not he was healthy enough
some of that.
Continue the race?
Here's what happened. In 1980, he won the presidency, and he was the oldest president. So he goes to the first term. Things are good. It looks like he's going to kill his opponent, Walter Mondale, in 84. The first debate, he was bad.
Yeah.
Not nearly as bad as Biden.
Sure.
Not even close.
Yeah.
He looked frail. The other guy was younger by probably 10 or 15, probably 18 years.
Yeah.
Walter Mondale. And he lost the debate, Reagan. And so there was like 2 or 3 weeks till the next debate. And the whole thing was, oh my God.
Is he available? Yeah.
Well, immediately in the second debate, Reagan came out, and I remember the line pretty well. I'll paraphrase it here. He said, a lot of people are making age an issue in this campaign, and I will not stand by it. I will not criticize my opponent for his youth and inexperience. And Mondale was like 55. So he said, and the crowd just loved, they laughed because it was a great joke.
Yeah, it was a great line. Yeah, great line.
And I don't think anybody thought about it at all after that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he was getting older.
Yeah.
But Biden looks Biden can't speak.
Decades past
he
that.
can't speak.
It would be interesting to see that happen. I think that would be very intriguing because I feel like every day there's some new history being made. Like these debates, dude. Have you gone back and seen like the 2012 debate with Romney and Obama and how different the debates are
totally
then? And this was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And how different they are now.
Right. Because
it's ridiculous.
Obama and Romney's, they could speak.
They had class.
They had class.
They were nice, well put together guys, and then Trump's making fun of people, and he changed the game, dude.
Oh, the presidency has been reduced so much because Trump starts like cursing from the podium. I mean, when Trump took office, I thought, well, the office deserves respect, but he lowered it so much. Yeah, Romney had class. So did Obama. So did Bush. So did Clinton. I mean, everybody had class.
All these dudes,
Trump does not. He will say BS or the F word or whatever.
But it works. I mean, he gets people on his side. I mean, as weird as it is,
it's
awful. There are people who are all for it.
But yet, I mean, I think Trump is dangerous. I think he's a danger to the Constitution because I think he is such an egomaniac. But I think Biden is just as dangerous because he has no capabilities
Exactly.
anymore. He has no functions. So what's to do? What are you supposed to do?
I don't know. That's the biggest question. What do you do?
If I were the Democrats, I think I would. I mean, you can't push him out, but I think I would say, for the good of the country and your image and the history, how history is going to remember you, you need to step aside.
Well, I think that would be a decent idea. I don't know how much that would. How much time do you really need to take somebody and go, hey, this is your new guy? Can they get that dude ready before November?
I don't know.
In 3.
I mean, they should have done
months?
it. They should have done it a year ago.
Yeah.
But now what has to happen is it has to be. I would think it would be the governor of California. I forget his name. Or there's a governor in Michigan, is a woman who I forget her name.
Yeah.
Gretchen something. But I think they could. I would rather, if I were a Democratic strategist, I think I'd rather have the governor of California running than Joe Biden right
True.
now.
Yeah.
I mean, now.
Yeah.
He embarrassed himself at that debate. He looked awful.
But do you really think that's going to sway any Democrats from voting for Trump?
I don't think it'll sway Democrats. I think it'll
make Democrats not vote.
Make them not vote.
You think?
I do think that. Yeah.
Really?
I was going to either not vote or vote for possibly Biden, but I can't vote for Biden. That is out of my mind now. I will not vote for him.
You think we're going to see like record low voting this year?
Totally up in the air now.
Yeah.
Who knows what it's going to be?
And a lot can change in the next 5 months.
I think many Americans are like, I can't believe these are my choices.
Yeah.
I mean, I cannot fathom that these are my choices. But, however, and you say, well, where are the other people running? But, I mean, 10 people challenged Trump. He just brushed them right off.
You know how you have to wait a period of time for a new season of a show?
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
We're waiting for the new season of Stranger Things.
Yes.
I know that's a weird thing to compare to, but let these dudes do that. This is the last time.
Mm-hmm.
This is the last time.
So we got to wait 4 years until somebody else.
Yes, you're going to have to wait your 4 years and then the next go-round.
Now, if Trump wins, which now I think is
looking,
way more possible. If he wins, then 4 years from now, I think he's the type of person who can try to change things where he can serve another term. He'll pack the Supreme Court so he can serve another term, or pass it down to his son or his son-in-law or his daughter, and then you've got a Trump almost like a king or almost like royalty. I'm not sure if it can be done, but I think he's one to try it.
I know that's a big concern for a lot of people. I don't see that happening.
I don't either.
That's just me personally.
Well, I don't either because our Constitution stands up against him.
Absolutely.
But he has, in his first term, he packed lower courts with Trump judges.
Yeah.
And the Supreme Court, there are 3 of his appointees on there. And if he wins again, he can appoint another 1 or 2.
It's true.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Secondly, it could be, I mean, without him doing anything, his son-in-law could run, or his son, or whoever.
Yeah. I mean,
who knows?
I mean, I know the Trump supporters like them just as much as they like Trump.
Well, and Trump supporters are unwavering so that he cannot lose in the primary. I mean, there was no Republican that even came close to challenging him in the primary. It is, to me, an unprecedented thing. I mean, it probably isn't. It probably has happened in the history of this country.
I would hope so. Kind of makes me hope so.
Well,
and the fact that we've got out of it and come back from it. You know what I mean?
But it's like somebody should have run against Biden that had a real shot at beating Biden.
Yes.
You know, Biden cannot. He's awful. I mean,
awful. Where was the opposing Democrats? Were there any?
Well, usually you don't run against a sitting president, but Kennedy is running, the Robert Kennedy
RFK,
Jr.,
yeah.
He's not going to make any headway.
No,
it's a terrible. It's a rough situation.
It's a weird time, dude.
Oh, it's as weird as it gets.
Speaking of nepotism, what do you think about the Lakers drafting Bronny James?
Ridiculous.
You not a fan of this?
No, I'm not.
I think the GOAT debate is over.
On who's the best of all time?
Yeah, LeBron's the best of all time now.
Because his son.
Because he got his son in the league.
That makes zero sense. But
Jordan didn't get his son in the league.
Well, I think teams had more sense then. They also just hired his podcast partner.
This made total sense.
How?
Okay, of the drafts of the previous 10 years, this is probably the weakest one.
Right.
I didn't even know who the first overall pick was going to be. I typically have an idea.
A couple of guys from France up top. Right.
This guy, Bronny James, got drafted 55th overall in the second round.
Right.
That pick is made for a project.
Right.
Why not bring LeBrons Son in to play?
Well,
he's capable.
Is he? Are there better players? I mean, if LeBron didn't have a son, I mean, come on. There is a better player.
Who really cares about the 55th overall pick in the second round?
Well, but there have been. You can find somebody there, can't you?
No, I don't think so.
There's never been a second-round pick
You
in the NBA
can make a
draft.
second-round pick that late in the second round, maybe. I don't know.
55.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know the history of it, but I would think there are better players. And if I think if his name had been, Bronny Smith, I don't believe he would have been picked.
No, I think this is great. I think this is wonderful. I think the fact that he got his son in is awesome. And I mean, he's leaving a legacy.
That doesn't make any sense to me at all. In fact, I mean, so I really don't understand that at all. I mean, you're thinking there. Why, I don't see if there's any player that is better, and I have to assume there are.
Sure.
I mean, do you agree that? Do you agree that if his son wasn't named James, he wouldn't have been picked?
I think that I don't think he would have been drafted.
I don't either.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't. I don't think
that makes no sense at all. And how can you have a team where LeBron James is so influential as a player that he gets his son drafted? And clearly got his friend made as coach who has no coaching experience at all. It made me think he's a laughingstock.
I think the J.J. Redick, I don't see. Here's the thing, though. I don't think, no matter who that pick was, I don't think it was going to make a big influence on the team in the long run.
But there have been.
And I think like I said, that was meant for a project. Mm-hmm. It could have been anybody.
Well,
but why not draft the son?
Well, because it looks like I'm only drafting because of LeBron's son. The big criticism of LeBron is that he controls the team.
Yeah.
So to me, it just showed a spotlight on that. Like, okay, he really does control the team. Yeah. He just got the coach he wanted picked, and he just got the player, his son, drafted. I have way less respect for him.
Is that's a problem to you that he has influence on the team like that?
I think players should be players, and the management should pick the players and the coaches without that much input. I do firmly believe that he got J.J. Redick hired, which is worse because that's the coach of the team.
Yeah.
So obviously the guy running the Lakers is LeBron James, and I don't think that works when the guy running the team is a player on the team.
If he wins a championship, will you change your tune?
Sure. I think there's zero chance.
Yeah,
I
mean,
don't you?
What if Bronny turns out to be the next whoever? You
just said that's impossible. You just said nobody.
I didn't say it was impossible.
You said nobody in that position at 55. It doesn't matter who you draft.
You're right, but I mean, what if he turns out to be like that? What if he's the first one?
And what if the guy drafted 56 does that?
Then I guess they made the wrong decision.
Then they made the absolute. They could have taken him.
Yes, there were 100% better players that could have been taken.
Then I think you take the better player. I mean, to me, it's so obvious that I mean, the guy not only should have not been drafted 55, shouldn't have been drafted at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care. I mean, maybe he'll do well. I can't imagine it. I mean, he's obviously only picked. I don't care for nepotism at all. If I have a job here, you want my son taking my seat when I retire over you?
If he's capable.
But he's not. And neither is LeBron James' son.
He may be capable. You never know.
No, he's not. And neither is LeBron James' son. You could wind up sitting in my chair in 10 years.
Yeah.
And what if I said on the way out the door, I don't want him sitting in my chair. I want my son sitting there. That would be ridiculous.
Yeah, it would be a bummer.
And it would be I don't care for that.
Yeah.
And I feel like you pick players based on their talent.
You're right.
And nothing else.
You're right.
Now, if he goes on to be great, then they can just say, there it is. We saw something in him. And, of course, but to me, the worst thing was the coach. I mean, they totally. And
according to J.J. Redick, that's the one I have the more problem with. Even though I love J.J. Redick, he said that they never had a conversation about the coaching position in L.A., which I don't believe.
I don't either.
Because they had a podcast together. That never got brought up once.
I mean, the whole fact that he is the podcast partner, I don't like J.J. Redick for a number of reasons, including, I didn't like when he criticized whoever it was, I was playing against Wilt Chamberlain, playing against Bob Cousy or whoever it was, and they said, well, these are plumbers and mechanics or whatever. I don't care for that. I don't feel like he needed to criticize the great players of the game. You can't help when you play.
True. Yeah, you're right.
I didn't think that was right. I saw at his press conference he dropped the F word at least twice that I heard. It's
I dig that. I kind of like the bluntness there.
Yeah, it's completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
It's okay, then we just criticized President Trump for doing that.
Yeah.
I just don't think that's a place to do that. I don't like J.J. Redick one bit.
Fair.
And I think he needs a way more experience sitting on a bench before you hire him. He's not being hired at Oklahoma City Community College. He's been hired at the L.A. Lakers. Probably the number one brand in all of NBA basketball.
You're right. Yeah. I mean,
now, he could do a good job because he knows basketball.
His other coaching experience was his 8-year-old son's AAU team.
I just think the Lakers have made a mockery of what used to be a great franchise, and I think the leader of that is LeBron James.
True.
who you just said
it's still the GOAT. I mean,
you can say that all you want. I'll never agree with that either. I'll take Michael Jordan as the GOAT. Are you just coming in here to make me mad today?
Maybe so. Yeah,
I
didn't mean to rally you up.
You know that I think Michael Jordan's the best player, and you know I hate stuff like that, and then you just come in and start talking about that.
I didn't know. Maybe I figured you may have a different idea on the whole Bronny James. Maybe you were like, "Oh, that's good."
You think I would support something like that?
You never know. I don't know.
You think I would support something like that?
You may surprise me. I don't know.
I'm never going to surprise. I'll never surprise you, and I would never support something.
All right, so you're always against nepotism, no matter what.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, unless I think you have to earn your way to the chair.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's done it. I don't think he would ever have been picked by the Lakers if he weren't LeBron James' son, and therefore I'm against it, basically. And I can't even imagine why anybody would be for that. If he had been picked by somebody else, that's a little different. Then maybe, I mean, if he really had earned it. Yeah. But the truth is, I don't follow NBA basketball enough to know how good he was. From what I heard, he wasn't that great in college.
Yeah, I mean, he did have that heart issue.
That's another thing.
You know, I guess maybe raise some red flags. But he came back and played from it, so.
But not. I mean, was he?
He wasn't. He wasn't like killing it or anything.
He wasn't that good. Exactly. So. Let me ask you this about: you're getting ready to go on vacation.
Yeah.
And where are you going?
Pennsylvania.
And is this the time that you're doing your 999 challenge?
No, that'll be later on in the month.
Okay.
That'll be.
So what are you doing in Pennsylvania?
Concerts.
Which concerts?
Tyler Childers.
I don't know who that is.
Country singer.
You told me that.
Yes.
And you're a big fan.
Big fan. Yes. I don't strike a lot of people as a country music fan.
I was going to say. No, you don't.
This dude, I don't know what it is about this guy. I've got a soft spot for him.
And you're going all the way to Pennsylvania to see him.
Actually, I'm going to New York to see him. Saratoga Springs.
So what are you doing in Pennsylvania?
That's where my family lives.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to stay with them, drive to Saratoga Springs, come back the next day on the 4th of July and see Justin Timberlake in Hershey, Pennsylvania.
How do you feel about his drunk driving arrest? Does it bother you?
No, not at all. We're all human.
You're not bothered by drunk drivers?
Yeah, I'm bothered when they're on the road with me, but
so you don't care that.
Well, he only had a drink. It was just a drink.
Is that true, or is
there
more to it than that?
I don't take Justin Timberlake for much of a liar.
Well, but didn't he? But he refused the breathalyzer.
Yeah,
and then didn't the cop? What did the cop say to him? Didn't he warn him like not to drive, and then he did drive?
Probably
anyway?
So. I think that was the case.
Do you think it was as a case of he thinks, well, I'm Justin Timberlake, so I'm just going to do it? You know.
Maybe.
Yeah. And
Maybe.
He was going off in a small town, I suppose, where the rich people eat in that spot. Right? So, so it doesn't bother you that he was drunk driving and you don't mind going?
Do you want me to give my ticket back or?
No, I'm just saying, what did you think about how he reacted?
Oh, no, it was, I mean,
his lawyer says they're going to fight it.
Yeah.
I don't think you can do that with any artist, really, where you say, because they all have skeletons in their closet.
Yeah.
You just seem to support people I don't like.
I got you,
but
man.
I like Timberlake. I don't have any problem with Timberlake, but I'm surprised. I mean, I think that's a real low moment for him.
Yeah, no, it's definitely the lowest moment of. Well,
I think he's also. Well, I don't know this for sure, but I don't know that he's that great a guy. I feel like he treated Britney Spears pretty badly.
Yeah, I could see that.
You know,
maybe I don't know. Maybe if that was just when he was younger.
Maybe.
And I know that he got in some trouble with maybe cheating on Jessica Biel a few years ago with somebody.
He really? I didn't know that.
He was caught holding hands with somebody, then apologized to his wife about it. That was the whole deal.
But again, you can't. I don't think you can. I wouldn't blame you. I don't blame you for getting a ticket to see him. I mean, you like his music.
For sure.
I don't think you can get into all that stuff. Some celebrities go so far as like, oh my God, you really are. Like O.J. Simpson, who we recently lost.
Yes.
Or maybe Michael Vick. For the dog.
I mean, do you think Michael Vick can come? I guess he has come back from that. Yeah,
he came back and played in the league.
Yeah,
and then he came back and got on television.
He's an analyst as well.
Is he on like NFL Network?
Yeah, something like that. One of those talking head shows.
I don't think I would have hired him for that. See, I think, and I don't believe. I don't know, maybe in this 80s, 90s, where he would have been hired for that. I mean, he did his time.
Yeah.
But the crime was awful.
It was.
He was running a dog fighting.
Yeah.
It was really bad.
And it's not like he was selling drugs. That's a whole deal.
Animal rights activists were pretty upset by that. And really, I don't blame them. That's a pretty. I was shocked when I saw him turn up as an analyst.
Well, do you think that's kind of the same thing with like the Bronny James situation? They just hire him because they know that, one, it'll get eyeballs, two, it'll sell tickets.
But did the Lakers need to sell tickets? I mean, come on.
I mean,
Lakers
people are going to show up to see that.
Did they have any trouble selling out their games? I wouldn't think so.
Maybe in the past few years, maybe because they haven't been so well. I mean, but people are going to see them.
I would think the Los Angeles Lakers are them and the Celtics are the two biggest brands in basketball. And LeBron James is still a huge draw.
One of the biggest names
himself.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine. Maybe TV ratings.
There
maybe they want to see how
they'll
those
be on TV more. Yeah.
But is he going to even play? He's going to be on the bench most.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
I feel like he'll probably be on the bench.
He'll get some playing time.
Late
he'll be on the floor with his dad once.
Oh, they'll definitely show that.
At least once, yes.
The other thing about that story is I don't see it as that. Like, who cares? To me, I would never tune in to see that.
Really?
Yeah. If NBC or whoever's got the contract, TNT, said tonight LeBron plays with his son for the first time, I wouldn't.
I think that's cool.
I mean, it's cool. I wouldn't care to see it.
Would there be any other iteration of that you would? Like if I don't know if Tom Brady's son became a receiver in the league.
No,
and it was
I would never tune in for a game but I don't care about the NBA.
Yeah.
I never tuned in when Ken Griffey and Ken Griffey Jr. played together.
Okay. I think that's super cool. I don't know
too.
why.
I never would I think it's fine. I never would go and see. I mean, there have been father-son. Did they play on the same team? I think they did. Griffey and Griffey Jr.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a cool thing for sure. I just never would go, oh, let's watch this. I mean,
fair.
Of course, basketball is different because they're actually together passing the ball.
Yeah.
Whereas baseball, you wait for somebody
to on the other side of the field. You're really not coexisting
batting
together.
Different. One could drive in the other. That'd be kind of cool. Who's the best? Maybe we should have done that for top 5. The best. Have there been many father-son? Well, Bobby Bonds and Barry Bonds.
Bobby Bonds and Barry Bonds.
There have been some.
Cal Ripken, Senior and Junior.
What's the best father-son duo? This could be it. If Bronny James plays half well.
Like to actually play together?
Well, to play,
or just like
to say who are the best two? If you could have those two in their prime, who would it be? It probably I don't know. I don't even know. Maybe Cal Ripken and Cal Ripken Jr.
Maybe so.
I mean, Cal Ripken Jr. certainly was unbelievable, but Griffey and Griffey have to be. Because Griffey Sr. is, even if he's not a Hall of Famer, he's close. And then Griffey Jr. was unbelievable.
But then Barry Bonds.
Well, wait a minute. Yeah, Barry Bonds and Bobby Bonds.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it.
Do you think Barry Bonds is the greatest baseball player ever?
No. Because
never mind. That was a dumb question. No. I know people, subscribe to that idea, but I know you're anti-steroids. So.
You're not? You're going to come in and say you're not anti-steroids.
I have mixed emotions about steroids.
But I mean, if it's illegal and he broke the rules,
sure, then that's fine.
Do you think he's the greatest baseball player ever?
I think he has a case.
If he could have not ever done steroids, he probably could have said, "Look, I hit 450 home runs and I stole all these bases and all that."
I mean, he won 8 MVPs. I mean,
he did, but a lot of them were steroid related, right? I mean, I think it taints everything.
You still got to hit the ball.
We have to hit the ball, but
and I know it gives you a little bit of an advantage, but you still got to hit the ball, man.
Yeah, but if you hit 30% of them to the warning track, he's not even. That's the whole point, right?
Yeah.
Plus, isn't it steroids? It's not so much that it makes you hit the ball farther. It just brings you back from nagging injuries
probably
faster.
So. And I'm sure, if you look at him at the beginning of his career and then at the end of his career, there's clearly something going on.
There is. But, what I always heard was, baseball especially is a game that it's such a long season. It's wear and tear. And he was able to come back because of steroid use, whereas a lot of players might have to take 2 weeks off. Players have a hard time with baseball.
True.
It's a long, long season. He was always fresh.
And then at that time, I think there were a lot more people playing full seasons
than
there were now. Yeah, absolutely.
It's unfortunate that steroid era. I loved seeing Bonds.
But wasn't it the last really great time in baseball?
Yes. It really was. It was. But to me, you're a Yankee fan.
Yeah.
I don't think Aaron Judge gets celebrated enough.
No, you're right.
Why?
Yeah.
He doesn't have the numbers, but Barry Bonds had the numbers, but with steroids.
But even though Aaron Judge is technically the single sans steroids,
but that's the problem.
Yeah.
Everybody said, but now Aaron Judge hit 62 home runs.
Yeah,
62 or 63.
I think it was 62.
So that ties that beats Ruth.
Yeah, because that beats Mantle. Maris.
Maris,
because then McGuire beat Maris.
That's right.
And then
that's right. So McGuire, Sosa, and Bonds, their numbers are so tainted.
Yeah.
You can't.
There are asterisks beside them. So.
Exactly. So now Judge, unfortunately, doesn't. If he had done that, if there had been no McGuire, no Bonds, no Sosa, if they had all played clean and hit 52 home runs, and then Judge had done that a couple of years ago, it's a golden age of baseball.
That would have been. Yeah, you're right.
Golden age of baseball.
But that was just so crazy. How there was literally 3 dudes like.
Oh, I know, it's
kind
amazing.
of all around
those two,
around the same 2 years.
When it was McGuire and Sosa, that was an incredible summer.
It was huge.
That brought baseball back.
It did.
Baseball had gone on the strike in '94, and then it completely brought baseball back. It was
we need
wonderful.
something like that again.
When 2 years later, when they said, "Oh, he might have used steroids," I didn't care. I was like, I loved both those guys.
Yeah.
But then it got into the bonds, and it was like, it just weighed down the game. So it's unfortunate. It really tainted it.
It is. Yeah.
I think the best baseball player of all time is probably Babe Ruth. You don't think so? I mean, he hit 60-some home runs when teams were hitting 60
That's
home
true,
runs.
yeah. And was pitching at the same time, like pitching shutouts and stuff.
Yeah. But, I mean, they say Ohtani is, on that path, but I can't imagine.
It's kind of hard. That's such a hard game to really.
I know. And the era makes a difference.
Yeah.
I think you can argue Willie Mays is the best player of all
Willie
time.
Mays is up there.
Because he was a five-tool player who was great in the field, at throwing, at running, at hitting for power. Whereas Ruth was but he could pitch, but he could also just hit for power. Incredible stuff. Yeah. We should do our the top 5, which last week we blew it because we did the top 5 Americans 1 week before 4th of July. Now, I said, what about this week? Do the top 5 places to visit in the United States. You're getting ready to visit New York City. Are you going to be in New York City itself?
I'm not going to be in the city, unfortunately.
Do you love New York City?
I don't mind New York City.
You don't love it?
One of my of my top ones is in New York City.
Oh, well, we should wait then.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what's your number 5?
My number 5 is kind of it's out there, but I've been there and it's really cool to experience the Badlands.
I hear it's amazing.
In South Dakota.
I have not been.
I think if you're an East Coast person and you've spent the majority of your time on the East Coast, just traveling to the western part of the country just to see the land.
Oh, yes.
Especially the Badlands. It looks like you're on a different planet.
Yeah, it's incredible.
It's completely unlike anything that you see over here.
The United States it's great because it has so much. It's so big.
So many vast different landscapes, man.
And that is one that compared to Niagara Falls.
Yes.
It's unbelievable.
And it's that, and then you go even further west to like Arizona where it's just barren cactus land. It's like we live on a weird stretch of land, dude.
I like it.
But it's amazing.
That's what's so great about the U.S.
It's so great.
Oceans on each side. Florida, New York City, all of Chicago. I've not been to a lot of places.
Yeah.
I never go anywhere.
I got
you know that. I go to the beach. That's Myrtle Beach, man. That's my spot.
What's better than that? Is that your number 1?
No. Well,
it's honorable mention. Okay.
I'll tell you what number 5 is.
What?
Dollywood.
Ooh.
Phenomenal. There's a surprise for you. Dollywood is affordable and fantastic. Everything about Dollywood, some of the best roller coasters I've ever had. Great down-home feeling. I recommend to anyone to go to Dollywood.
Dollywood's I've never been. I've been by it.
Yes.
And that whole area, the Pigeon Forge area, is nice.
Incredible.
Yes.
The area is nice enough. Dollywood itself, fantastic. I would suggest all the more affordable than Disney.
Better than Disney?
I wouldn't say better than Disney. I said by a lot more affordable.
But worth the price to go over Disney.
Absolutely right.
Okay.
Yes. If you wanted a good affordable, then Dollywood's it. Plus, if you like just roller coasters, which I do, and my kids do, then Dollywood is a great ticket for you. What's your number 4?
Speaking of different parts of the country that is awesome just to witness, the Great Lakes.
Yes, I've never been.
You don't even have to go to the big ones. Just go. If you can go to Cleveland and literally go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Museum and just walk behind it, you can see Lake Erie.
Yes.
That just seeing a lake with a horizon is baffling. And I really don't think people understand how big they are.
It's incredible.
It's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
And just
huge.
going and seeing just a portion of it is breathtaking.
It's a cool thing.
Very, very cool.
I've seen Lake Michigan, which is the biggest from Chicago.
Yeah.
And it's incredible.
Yeah.
It's incredible to see. I put at number 4 Yellowstone. I've not been there.
Gotcha.
I've never been. And yet, I put it at number 4 because I hear so many great things about
it. It's a beautiful place. I've never been either. Never been either. Where is that in California?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I hear Yellowstone National Park
is
amazing, and I would love to go.
Yeah.
I've never seen the Golden Gate Bridge. I put that on
here's my thing about these national forests or national parks. If there was a way that I could just appear in the place where you see the stuff,
yes,
and then disappear.
You don't want to travel all
No,
that.
I don't want to hike. I don't want to park and then walk 17 miles.
It's a lot.
Just to see it.
It's a
and
lot.
then walk all the way back.
No, I agree. It's a lot.
It
would
and
be
I know
nice.
that's part of the experience, but I'm not down with that hiking stuff.
If the
bro.
technology ever got to the point where you could just, beam yourself there
Yeah.
and beam back.
And I'm at the Arches National Park. Oh, wow, this is crazy. And then I'm out. Yes.
The Redwoods or whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But I do hear Yellowstone is like a
I
place
hear the
not
same
to
thing.
miss.
And to people who want to go hiking,
I put it on there because it's now again I like to lay around, but that is something probably to see. What's your number 3?
my number 3, the Chicago River.
The Chicago River.
So the river that runs
I've seen
right
it.
down the middle of Chicago.
They dye it green for the
Yes.
St. Patrick's Day.
Doing like a ferry tour.
Yes, I've
And
done
just,
that.
just being in Chicago on the river and then looking up and seeing the
The
skyscrapers. Super cool,
It's
man.
fantastic.
Very great experience. And it's so serene and it's calm.
I did it when they dyed it green.
Yeah.
And the guy who was leading the tour on the riverboat said that it flows south to St. Louis, so all the garbage goes into St. Louis. That's what they hate St. Louis, and they send all their trash and toilets and stuff, everything, all their refuse down there.
St. Louis is a weird city. It's cool, but it's weird, man.
I've heard it's a pit.
Chicago.
I've never been.
Some
Chicago's great.
Chicago's amazing. There are cool parts of St. Louis,
Yeah.
but overwhelmingly, it's not the greatest place.
Somebody who lived there to me described it as Detroit with an arch. When Detroit was like known as the crap hole of the country.
Detroit's
Although it's coming back.
Detroit's coming up. Apparently, they're on the come up now.
I saw a golf tournament from there the other day that looked great. Number 3, I put Disney World. Okay, fine, shoot me. I love it. That's it. I love it. It's way too expensive. It's hot, but there is a magical feeling there.
There is.
You've been?
I went once when I was in 7th grade.
Yeah.
I didn't appreciate it.
Yeah.
Looking back, I wish I would have been a little bit more open-minded. I was a pissed off teenager. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
even at the happiest, I was with I don't know. It was hot. That overwhelmed me.
It's hot.
I need to go in like the off season.
It's hot. There are a lot of lines. I hear the best time to go is like the second week in January because all the kids are back in school.
Yeah.
It's 60 degrees and nobody's there.
That's when I need to go back.
I've heard. I mean, the week after Christmas, everybody is there.
Yeah.
But then if you can go, like retirees go in middle January.
Okay.
And love it, from what I understand.
Because I hear, people say it's expensive, but we have a coworker who goes like 3 times a year.
Who's that?
Matt.
He goes 3 times a
He
year?
goes several times a year.
Does
At
he
least
really?
once a year. Yeah.
Well, it's expensive. Now, when I go, it's expensive.
But like he was explaining to me, like
you can get deals.
They went for like 9 nights, and it was not that expensive.
Yeah, you can do it.
If you work it out well.
You can do it that way. What's your number 2?
The DC National Mall.
That's also my number 2.
I would say, I didn't want to say DC, but maybe just DC.
It's amazing.
I think the history.
Yep.
And the things that you can see.
Yep.
And it's clean.
Yep.
It's walkable.
Yep.
And everything's free. Well, the museums are free.
If you Washington D.C. is also my number 2.
Yeah.
And the mall. 2 things about it. The monuments, of course, are incredible. They keep it clean.
Yes.
Always, as you said. Even the subway's clean because they wanted, like, if dignitaries ride the subway. I mean, it's always spick and span. And there are other parts of Washington, I'm sure.
Of course,
that
not so great.
Crazy, but I saw the Vietnam Memorial once and didn't care anything about it walking in, and it was the most powerful moment I've probably ever experienced.
Yes.
I looked at that wall and I was like, oh my God. I mean, I didn't even really know, I didn't have a connection to Vietnam. And when I saw that wall and all those names on it, I mean, it was moving. And I was a teenager, it was incredible.
I had a very similar experience when I went. We went to the National Mall, and I did this picture where I laid down, and it looked like the Washington Monument was my erection in the picture.
Yes, very similar.
Yeah, it was very cool.
Very similar experience.
Very, very cool, yeah.
The Lincoln Memorial.
Lincoln Memorial's great.
Jefferson.
I love the Jefferson Memorial.
You should have to, because of your erection comment, move that down a spot on your on your list. It can no longer be number 2 because of your erection comment. That has to move down.
When it's right there, you just gotta.
You did it. Well, you were younger.
Yeah, I was.
You were a teenager.
I was. Yes.
What's your number 1?
My number 1 in New York, Central Park.
I love Central Park.
Central Park in New York, I think it's an amazing experience.
I went there once. My wife's birthday in November. It was a fall day. It was 65 degrees. Absolute perfection.
Yes.
The leaves had changed. It's perfect.
It's clean. I'm sure there are sketchy parts of it, but
Probably.
I'm not a big fan of New York City.
Yeah.
I always feel like I'm getting scammed somewhere.
Yeah.
But when you go and it's just this beautiful park in the middle of the city, which is so rare to find.
You're right.
And it's huge.
And it's big.
It's absolutely humongous.
You're
it's
right.
kind of hard to conceptualize until you're in it.
I know. I had never. I didn't get it until I was in.
And then
it's enormous
because you're there, and then like you step out, and then there's Fifth Avenue. You know what I mean? But you get it. You get immersed in it. The foliage is beautiful. There's horse-drawn carriages. There's people having picnics, kids playing. There's lakes, people fishing, people sleeping, people studying. It's such an amazing place.
I love it.
In the middle of the busiest city in the world is this little place of refuge.
In fact, in all of New York, that's probably my favorite spot.
Yes.
Because you go there and it's just like, wow.
Like Yankee Stadium's great. That's such an experience. Going to Times Square is cool. Statue of Liberty, Rockefeller Center.
All that.
But Central Park is just it's an experience.
Huge, as you said. I love everything about it.
Yes.
I agree with you. My number one is the Grand Canyon. I've never been.
Gotcha.
But everybody says it's fantastic. I mean, I do want to see it.
Did I tell you my story about the Grand Canyon?
No, I don't believe you.
I went to Arizona 2 summers ago, me and my dad, for a baseball trip, right?
Yeah.
And we had full intentions on going to the Grand Canyon. But then we realized that from downtown Phoenix to the Grand Canyon was a 4-hour drive.
You refused.
So we decided to go get fried chicken up the street instead.
You should have. In fact, we should just delete all your choices. From the erection to the, you chose fried chicken over the Grand Canyon.
So fried chicken over the Grand Canyon.
Well, last week you chose Joey Chestnut over Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah.
So you're continuing the streak.
I mean, it was some pretty good fried chicken. I'm not gonna lie.
If you had to do the choice over again, would you choose the fried chicken?
Yes.
Don't answer that.
Yes. 100%.
Fried chicken was that good? Where was it? Was it at least from a place that was only local there?
No, I think they had chains. It's called Gus's, but I think they had several locations.
Gus's fried chicken over the Grand Canyon, but a 4-hour drive. Your father stood by this.
Oh yeah, he's totally fine too. He even bought a T-shirt.
Gus's?
He bought a Gus's fried chicken T-shirt.
Can't get that at the Grand Canyon, can you?
Cannot. No, you cannot.
They're going to take our award away from us. This is the worst. I can't believe they're going to take that award away from us.
Slowly skipping down the list.
Yes. Yeah. Well, next week when we come back, I love your top 5 for next week. You had the idea, but it's 4th of July, so we'll do the American places this week. Next week, best fictional athletes.
I'm into it. Yes.
I'm very into it. I'm going to
put the best list together for you.
That's very possible.
Yeah.
You'll probably make me mad, but that is a good list. All right, that's another square in the round. That's a good one. That's a good square in the round.